So, have you heard about the big shakeup in Ottawa County politics recently? It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah?
fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I caught wind of some changes, but fill me in on the details. What's going on?
Well, in 2022, this grassroots group called Ottawa Impact came onto the scene. They were really motivated by what they saw during the COVID
Right.
19 pandemic. They wanted to address what they viewed as deep wrongs in local government.
So they shook things up?
Exactly. And now, after the recent elections, we're seeing some significant shifts. Voters ousted two of the Ottawa Impact commissioners and even one Democrat.
Interesting. So who's left on the board now?
Well, returning from Ottawa Impact are Joe Moss, Sylvia Rodia, Kendra Wenzel, and Allison Miedema. Then there's Jacob Bonema, who was once part of OI, but is now kinda,
Oh, wow.
a fierce adversary. And we've got some new moderate Republicans taking seats for the first time.
Who are the new faces?
We've got Jordan Joritsma, John Teeples, James Barry, and Josh Brugger. And
Got
rounding
it.
out the board is the lone Democrat, Doug Zylstra.
Sounds like a pretty diverse group.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that all 11 commissioners have expressed a desire to move past factions.
Really?
They want to be seen as representatives of their districts, not just as members of a particular group.
That's refreshing. Do you think they can pull it off?
I hope so. Commissioner Kuyers said, "We're not legislators, we're commissioners." He seems keen on unity.
But didn't Joe Moss hope that lessons were learned over the last 2 years?
Yes, he mentioned that he hopes the incoming board will look back and learn from the past. He called it a necessary but difficult transition.
Right. Do you think the county will revert to pre-2022 policies?
That's the big question. Some, like Joritsma, believe voters don't want things exactly as they were before or as they are now. It's about finding
Yeah.
a balance.
Sounds like they have their work cut out for them.
Definitely. They all seem to agree on wanting unity and restoring trust. Brugger mentioned bringing boring government back through responsible and transparent leadership.
Haha, boring government. Well, sometimes boring is good when it comes to governance.
Exactly. And there's also a focus on rebuilding trust with county employees. A recent survey showed trust levels with the board at just 24%.
Yikes. That's pretty low. How are they planning to address that?
Barry hopes to restore confidence by making slow, visible decisions. And Zylstra wants to cement a permanent administrator and corporate council to stabilize things.
Makes sense. Speaking of stability, weren't there concerns about the county's financials?
Yes, incoming commissioners are worried about the budget and the county's 8AA bond rating. The cost of lawsuits has been a big issue.
Oh, lawsuits? How many lawsuits are we talking about?
Since the current board was sworn in, they've been sued at least 6 times. Kuyers mentioned that in his previous tenure, they had maybe 1 lawsuit.
That's a big jump.
Totally. And that's why restoring financial stability is a priority. They want to get rid of unnecessary lawsuits and focus on fiscal responsibility.
Right. Aside from finances, what other priorities are on the table?
Hiring a new administrator is high on the list. Bonema said that everything begins with the leader, and they need someone competent to guide the county forward.
Definitely important. Any plans regarding housing?
Yes. Zylstra emphasized the need to address housing, especially since Ottawa County is one of the fastest growing regions in Michigan.
That's big.
Barry also wants to see more public-private partnerships in the housing sector.
With all these priorities, do you think the Ottawa Impact members will align with the rest?
Well, the remaining OI commissioners intend to continue prioritizing individual rights and local authority. Moss believes they've laid the groundwork for future success.
Do you think that might cause some friction?
Possibly. Teeples mentioned that if they don't move the county towards civility and public trust, he'd consider the term a failure.
That's a strong statement. Well, it sounds like Ottawa County is at a crossroads.
Absolutely. It's like they're standing at a fork in the road, and the choices they make now will shape the county's future for years to come.
Couldn't agree more. I'm really curious to see how it all unfolds.
Same here. Hopefully they can find common ground and work together for the good of the community.
Here's hoping.